If you're just starting out your career in tech, then you need to watch this. This is going to be a story about this one time where I really messed up big time and how I recovered from that trauma and the lessons I learned. Okay, let's build up the story because that's important. If you guys don't know, I've worked as a graduate software engineer in my first year of working in my company. I was placed in the automation team where we mainly had to create and maintain workflows mainly involving ETL, which stands for extract, transform, and load. So me being a fresh graduate, I was given the task to migrate our superseded workflows from an old system to a new system. This meant I had to learn both systems and really get up to speed as fast as I could. The project involved a lot of Python and SQL, so shout out to my university classes for actually preparing me for this particular real-world job. It really played a big part in the project, so for those people that are still studying, don't slack off on your fundamental topics. Anyway, what I had to do was basically understand what the functions were doing in different workflows and try to convert it one-to-one on the new system. So as my work progresses, I was involving more and more database testing where I was constantly checking if the workflows are successfully pulling and pushing data. One day I was working on a particular workflow which is mainly for refreshing a database. During that time, someone implemented this refresh method where we basically pull new data from the source, delete everything from the specific database, and then insert the new data into the clean database. As you can imagine, this method is not scalable, meaning the refresh duration will grow one-to-one as the amount of data grows. So at the time I was like, why not just implement a better solution where we just perform inserts on the new and modified data only so we're not deleting everything? To me, it was a reasonable improvement and it was simple enough, which I wasn't sure why it wasn't implemented in the first place. So after approval from my manager, I went ahead to implement this solution. You know what other solution you need? A VPN solution. Just think about the fun things you do online, diving into movies you love, shopping, enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the digital snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snatch your credit card information, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. But don't worry, NordVPN keeps all the snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely even while away from home. The best part is just a click away. This is especially important if you're into cybersecurity, so I highly recommend checking it out here using this link to get your 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's totally risk-free. Anyway, back to the story. If you guys don't know, usually there is a development environment, user acceptance testing environment, and production environment. My first mistake was unknowingly doing my development work in the production environment. I was doing a whole bunch of tests with SQL queries and I accidentally did a truncate statement on one of our databases. So if you don't know, truncate in SQL means delete. And I accidentally wiped out 10 terabytes of data on that specific database, which was about 5 years worth of data. As you can probably imagine, I was only a couple of months into my new job and I had a massive panic attack. To make matters worse, it was about half an hour until the end of the office hours, so people were already going offline. And during this time, one of my team members said that someone asked him if one of our database was broken because they couldn't get any data from it. I did my best to remain composed and reached out to my manager to explain what had happened. Luckily, he was still available, so he assured me that we have backups, so that was a huge relief for me. He also told me that every software engineer he knows, including himself, has done something similar in the past, so I don't have to worry too much about it, but it's very important I learn from this mistake. Okay, so that's the story. Let me know in the comments if you've also done a big mistake in your career and had a panic attack. I would love to see what experiences you guys had. Anyway, the next important part is the lessons I learned. Lesson number 1, make sure to have backups for everything. If you're unsure, ask any of your seniors if anything you're doing has a backup. I know this might be common sense to some people with more experience, but this lesson is generally for new starters. If you're doing any work that involves changing the existing service, workflow, code, database, etc., then make sure there is a backup copy readily available where you can easily revert back. And make sure that backup copy actually works and you've tested it so it's not corrupted. During the restoration process for my mistake, my manager informed me that the latest backup was actually corrupted, so he had to restore from an even earlier backup point. So backup, backup, backup. Lesson number 2, avoid deleting. So people with more experience will probably agree with this as well, but do your best to avoid deleting something until you can confirm that it's 100% not needed. Instead, try archiving or disabling. As I progress through my career, I've learned that deleting something without going through thorough background checks is a really dangerous action to take. Like one time I was cleaning up a bunch of AWS IAM users and I thought about deleting this particular user which I thought was not being used. Deleting it was easy, and if I messed up, then recreating it was also easy as well. That's what I thought, but after further background checks, I've discovered that there were like 10 applications that uses the same user, and if I had deleted the user, do a whole process of checking in the test environment and the production environment, and then do documentations for audits. Basically what I thought was a small easy cleanup would have turned into a lot of extra work. Lesson number 3, don't get too stressed about the higher ups eagle-eyeing you. I know this happens to a lot of new starters, as a couple of my friends has also mentioned that they have been doing overtime because they're worried about the manager judging their performance. This is very common, but most of the time your manager is too busy to even worry about that. When you're new to a job, there wouldn't really be a high expectations in terms of performance, as they understand you need time to get used to the environment, get properly onboarded, and familiarize yourself with the stack. I'm also speaking from personal experience because one time I was working until 8 PM on a Friday night because I thought I didn't do enough progress on this project on that day, and then my manager would be eyeing me and keeping track of everything, so it was an added stress for me. But in reality, they were out having drinks and not a single thought was on me. So this flows into lesson number 4. Set a hard clock out time. This is mainly for remote and work from home people. Make sure to set a hard limit on clocking out on time. It's really easy to work after office hours when you're working from home, and I'm definitely guilty of this. During this project, I've spent a lot of time after hours playing catch up because I thought my progress wasn't satisfactory and that my manager would be tracking everything. After a while, I could feel more tired than usual, so that's when I realized I need to stop doing this. Sometimes I literally had to set an alarm to stop me from going overtime. A reality check hit me when I realized that all this overtime effort is easily forgotten and people are usually not even aware of this. So unless you're meeting a deadline for a very serious project, it's not worth ruining your work-life balance. Anyway, that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.